All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. We're thrilled to have you join us today for an engaging webinar on one of the leading decorative hardware brands, Forest Drapery. Before we dive in, just a few housekeeping items. We love interaction on our webinar, so feel free to ask questions in the Q&A section down below. Also, if you stick around to the very end of the webinar, you will have a chance to win one of three Forest Drapery binders as our gift to the first three attendees who can answer a challenging question at the end. I shared with Callie that we were doing this, and Forest Drapery is also willing to match the three binders. So actually, we will be giving away 6 binders at the end of the webinar. But that's not all. We also have a special sample offer to help kickstart your journey in selling Forest Drapery hardware successfully. So again, if you stick around to the very end, you will see that. So let me introduce our presenter today. Callie Rogers is the National Sales Manager with Forest Drapery. She has been with them 8 years, and we are absolutely thrilled to be partnered up with Forest Drapery. They're a phenomenal company to work with. And again, we look forward to her sharing her insights about her product line to kind of help you elevate your next window treatment project that you work on. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Callie.
Good afternoon. As Heath said, I'm Callie Rogers. I'm the National Sales Manager here at Forest Drapery Hardware. I started 8 years ago, right out of college, and I remember right when I came into the industry, I kept hearing the same thing over and over. Once you're in this industry, you never get out of it. And I don't plan on going anywhere. Like I said, I've been here 8 years. I've done multiple different positions with the company. I started in inside sales. From there, I transitioned into outside sales, where I trained out in the warehouse for 6 months. And then I went into a national account position, which is where Heath and I met. And we started the program and the partnership with COCO, which we were super excited about. From there, it has really taken off. Just recently, I've stepped into this position that I'm in now, and I'm overseeing all of sales and been brainstorming a lot with Heath on how to grow the sales with our COCO and to really make this partnership and take it to the next level. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to give you Forest Drapery Hardware 101, and I'm going to give you an introduction level of the basics, what you need to know, what the features and benefits are of our products, what the top sellers are, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible. I know sometimes drapery hardware can get a little overwhelming, and there are so many different things that go into it that you don't think about, but we're going to keep it very, very simple. Before I start the presentation, I do have a special guest to give you the history of Forest Drapery Hardware.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stephen Wright. I'm the president of Forest Drapery Hardware. I want to echo what Heath was talking about. We really enjoyed our partnership. I think 2.5 years, 3 years almost working together. And the neat part of our partnership, we share the same values. We really feature quality and service. And I think we're both like-minded there, and it's made both our companies very successful. So it's been a perfect synergy, and we're looking forward to doing more opportunities like this to train everybody in the field and give them the knowledge they need to be successful with our products. So before we get to the true expert, Callie, I want to give you a little history of Forest. If many of you may or may not know, the company was started in Holland in 1975 by a gentleman named Henk Bosgoed. He bought a truck and started driving around to different projects that were finishing, some residential, some hospitality, and some office buildings, and would sell things like carpet glues, underflooring, trims, and window treatments. Fast forward to 1985, just after 10 years of being in business, he was up to 21 trucks and was the largest wholesaler in the Benelux region, which is Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Was doing very well, but really wasn't satisfied with the window treatments he was bringing to market. So his wife was from Poland and had some family there, and they decided they developed a product called the KS system or click system. And it was kind of revolutionary. It was a extruded aluminum track that was powder coated, and he patented a special lubricant that was more or less Teflon based. It's a secret sauce. He won't tell me the ingredients, so we don't know what it is, but it works amazingly. And it allows us to give a lifetime warranty on the product. The carriers slide effortlessly. You could bend it down to like a 6-inch radius. Really was kind of a breakthrough in the 80s. No one really had anything like that. So fast forward another 5 years, about 1990, it wasn't too long before competitors started approaching Mr. Bosgood and said, hey, I realize I'm your competitor, but I love that track system. Where, can I buy that from you? And he really had to kind of up his manufacturing capacity, and wasn't too long, I think it was 95, he realized he couldn't do both. So he decided to sell the wholesale business and concentrate on the manufacturing and developing new curtain systems. And he named it Forest Drapery Hardware. Why did a Dutch guy pick Forest Drapery Hardware? It's a nice little trivia question. It's because his name translates in Dutch. Bos means forest. And so Mr. Bosgood really translates to Mr. Good Forest in English. So he found a nice international name that he could expand with. And the rest is history. I think it was 96, was really intrigued with the US market and saw how big it was and all the different opportunities, and actually he partnered with another Dutch guy, literally working out this guy's basement in the Atlanta area, and went to 14 trade shows, and Forest Drapery Hardware USA was formed and really did well right off the jump street. In 99, they obviously outgrew the guy's basement, and we opened up a 16,000 square foot facility in Cartersville, Georgia, which is approximately 40 minutes north of Atlanta, about an hour north of the airport, and started doing very well. I joined the company in 2003 as their vice president of sales and marketing, and I'd love to take credit for being some great businessman, but it was a lot of low-lying fruit. These Dutch guys didn't really know the market too well. They allowed me to expand the range of the products, use the technology we developed in these KS systems, and we're able to put it in our traversing systems, and kind of became known as one of the first people could really do a decorative ripple fold rod. We could do, guaranteed motorized systems that have a 10-year warranty. Developed a lot of things that were kind of new to the market, and grew and grew. I guess I was named in 2007 as the president of the company. We kept growing. We were very lucky. I made a lot of changes when I became president and got everything lean and mean before the 2008 financial disaster. You guys may be too young to remember all that. But we sailed right through it, almost, impervious, very profitably. We did very well. So when we started coming out of the recession, we picked up a lot of market share and grew and grew. And in 2012, we purchased the building right next door to us, which was a 40,000 square foot facility. Never thought we could fill the whole thing, but within 18 months, it was 100% filled, and really gave us so much more fabricating capacity. We have tremendous work rooms, 3 different lines, 2 for fabrication, 1 for bending and curving, that allows us to probably be one of the best and fastest fabricators in the United States. Since that time, we've really, like I said, enjoyed partnering with national accounts like COCO that allows us to reach people we normally wouldn't see. We were always very big in the hospitality business, as well as some people that have known us for years in the distribution business. But that really allowed us to get in front of some folks like yourselves, and we're really excited about the opportunity. And with that being said, we're still growing. We're still adding more staff, adding more capacity. We just purchased another $50,000 cutting machine in the back. So we're growing, we're thriving, and it's really all thanks to partnerships like with COCO. So I hope that gives you a little history, a little bit of international history of Forest Drapery Hardware. And without further ado, I'll turn over to the true star of the presentation.
Thanks, Steve.
Rogers.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let the fun begin. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you. And as he said, please ask questions. There are no dumb questions. If I start referring to something that you're not familiar with, please let me know. I think you all probably know in this industry, some people might refer to one thing as 50 different names. So welcome to Forest. Just a couple of the basics before I get into the products. As Steve said, we're 45 minutes north of Atlanta, so we're shipping everything out of Georgia. We have the fastest lead time in the industry for anything assembled. It is 7 to 10 business days. When I'm talking about being assembled, that means it comes ready to install, ready. All you have to do is hang the rod and hang the draperies. Anything that is components, this could be extra brackets, or if you're going to assemble a rod yourself in-house, it could be pole sets, will ship in 1 to 2 business days. So again, it's a really, really fast lead time. We don't run into many back order situations. That's something that we really take pride in. I know during COVID and right after COVID, a lot of feedback we were getting from customers is our competitors had so many back order issues, and that's something that really we are known for. We have $6 million in inventory, and we constantly have containers on the water coming over from Europe. We import everything from Europe. So as we go along in the presentation today, you'll see the European craftsmanship, the high quality, the contemporary designs that our products have. We do take photos of all orders before they ship out of the door. To assemble a QC process, we have 2 different QC processes where it's QC'd by 2 different teams to ensure that errors don't happen. And if you have an install scheduled, you're able to meet that install and receive exactly what you order. Okay, the way that we're going to do this today is I'm going to break it down. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep everything super simple. I'm going to give you the basics and what you really need to know. We'll break it down by track systems. So these are going to be non-decorative, basic, economical options. Track systems are also used a lot in the commercial industry. I will then get into decorative metal and then decorative wood, and we'll save the best for last, motorization. And you'll see even in the motorization, I will keep that simple as possible as well. So forest track systems, you'll see that we have several different track systems. Some I'm sure you're familiar with, some you may be like, hey, what is that? Or I didn't know you offered anything like this. But first, touching on the basics of all of our track systems. All forest track systems have a patented Teflon lubrication. This is something that no other track in the industry has. What this means is it's going to glide super smooth and super quiet. Also, your installer is not going to have to spray silicone spray during the installation. They're going to last for 10 years. You'll see that they glide smoother than anything, and I'll show you here in just a second how smoothly I'm talking about. They can be bent and curved, so we do custom bending, curving, bend down to an 8-inch radius, whereas most companies only bend to a 12-inch radius. And what that means exactly is obviously when you're bending a drapery rod, you can't do a true 90 because the carriers would not go through the L where it is bent, but it's just how close it gets into that 90-degree bend. All of our tracks, it's a very quick and easy installation. So as Steve mentioned, Forest first was what was called the click system. And what this click system is this is a click-in easy installation bracket. A lot of people are used to a bracket called a cam, which is a bracket Hirsch had years and years ago. I think they still have it where it's lock-in mechanism. The click bracket really takes away and really makes that installation go a lot faster and a lot smoother. And a couple other things I'll point out. Our tracks will pull 6 pounds per foot, whereas most only pull 3 pounds per foot. So they're very heavy duty. You can pull very heavy draperies and you're not going to have any issues. I'm going to dive into the 3 that I would really like to point out to you today, but just kind of touching base on a couple of others. You have a ceiling mount track. This is not going to require brackets. So this track has a flange with pre-drilled holes every 16 inches where you'll drill it directly to the ceiling. Now, I will say this is more designed towards the commercial market. So for any of you who deal with commercial applications, this might be a good option. We have a corded system, called the KS system. This is just a really small profile track system. This again was the first track that Forest ever designed, but when they brought it over to the US, they quickly realized, hey, we need to make the profile just a little bit larger. We have this system here, which is really, really interesting. It's called the DSXL LED, and it is a drapery hardware track with LED lighting going through the track. It's really, really neat. You can actually motorize it. You can brighten the lights and dim the lights as well. But of all these tracks, you obviously don't always need all of them. So what are the best sellers? So the number one, your bread and butter, always your go-to track is the CS track. This is our contract system. It's 3/4 inches by 3/4 inches. It can be used on heavy duty projects. It's used behind our wood fascias. It's available in black, brown, and silver. It can be pinch pleat or ripple fold, wall mount or ceiling mount. It really gives you limitless possibilities. If you ever need a basic track, I always tell people, unless there is a specific reason you need something different, go with the CS track. The next one that I would like to point out, this is something really, really different and that I personally love. Our sales have really increased even over the past year with this collection. It's called the DS, or the design system. But what this is going to be is this is basically a decorative track without the cost of what decorative hardware would be. So it's something that you can offer to somebody who's maybe a little more on a budget, that doesn't want to spend what decorative metal would cost or decorative wood would cost, but they do want something a little more contemporary, a little more sleek. So this is where you could direct them to the DS. You can see the profile is rounded, just has a really clean look on a ceiling mount. It is absolutely beautiful. It just really blends with the ceiling. And since this was doing so well for us, we have now added it in graphite as well. The last one that I would like to point out, this is called the RTS, or recessed track system. But what this system is this is designed to be recessed into the ceiling. For those of you who maybe aren't familiar with recessing or wondering what in the world am I talking about, it's where you have your track mounted inside of the ceiling and it would be completely flush with the ceiling. Now, what a lot of people have always done is they will recess tracks like the CS, which you can do, but the problem with that is once this is recessed, you can't get it out of the ceiling. You also risk dust and debris getting into the track when it's being installed. So with the recess system, that does not happen. There is a pocket that you would give to a contractor. They would then install the pocket. You would simply, once the draperies are ready to install and the pocket is in, you would click the track into the pocket. And then if you ever need to get it down, you're able to do so. You also don't have that risk of the dust and debris getting into the track. And I'm going to show you a video so it makes sense. I'll point out we do have a YouTube channel, a lot of really beneficial videos on here with multiple products, installation, motorization, assembly. So here.
Are you self-employed?
Keith, can you see the video okay?
No, not yet. It's not showing.
Now?
Yes.
Or run a small business? Do you want an easy way to create professional invoices? Then Skynova is for you. Thousands of painters, cleaners, create
Get skip, Callie. There we go. So if I recall last time, you really can't hear the gentleman very well, but at least you'll be able to see there's 3 components here that make up this recessed track system, and you'll see how they'll fit together. So I'm sorry you can't really hear him speak very well.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Which I can walk you through it too. This just helps show because a lot of people are like, hold on, what are all these parts you're talking about? So this here is the profile piece. This is what you would give to the contractor. The recessed track system really is designed more for new construction. So this profile is what the builder would install into the ceiling. From there, once this is in the ceiling and you're ready to go install the draperies, you will click this track into the profile. I'm just going to fast forward to where we click it in together. So here's how it clicks in. And then there is a fixing strip that locks it extremely tight into place. Even if you have a heavy drapery, it would not pull this out of the ceiling or out of the profile. If that helps give a more clear idea. Now I'm going to show you a couple of the tracks that we discussed. So here is the CS track, the black, which is nice too, that it comes in the different finishes. Again, because if you have somebody who is maybe more on a budget, can't afford the metal, this would be a good option to point them to. And then here you can see how fast, how easily, these are ripple fold carriers that go across. And it's the 3/4 inches by 3/4 inches. So even though it's pulls double the weight capacity of most of our competitors in the industry, it's still a small track and a small profile. The DS track. And again, I mean, you can see that just those glide effortlessly, I should say. And then last but not least, the recess track. It can be motorized. So I have the motorized option that I'm showing you. And this would be as if you were looking up at the ceiling from this view.
So Colin, we do have one question. This comes from Mr. Graves, and he wants to know, does the CS track carry 6 pounds?
Correct.
Correct, okay.
Any other questions on track systems? Again, they can all be pinch pleat. They can all be ripple fold, wall mount, ceiling mount, one way, two way. And I'll just kind of point this out. So in the Forest catalogs that you have from RM COCO, you'll see there is assembled pricing. One benefit to the assembled pricing is it includes everything you need. And that price does not change whether you use a pinch pleat rod or a ripple fold or a wall mount or a ceiling mount. The only thing that changes that assembled price is the actual width of the track. One thing that came up a few weeks ago when I was doing a training is if there's multi-draws. So let's say somebody has 3 different panels on one track, or they want to do a center stack. That does not affect the price either. So it's very easy to price out.
Callie, I have another question. This is from Stephen Thompson, and they're asking, how do you handle drapery returns 3 to 6 inches?
As far as like the projection of the brackets?
I'm assuming, maybe Stephen will clarify, but maybe so. So let's maybe answer from that.
Yeah, Stephen, if you're referring to the bracket on the CS track as well as the DS, it's an adjustable bracket. It is up to 3.5. I think it's 3.5 to 4 3/4 inches, and then on a double bracket, the same thing.
So we'll wait. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say most all of our wall brackets, you'll see they're a 3.5 inch projection bracket for the 3.5 inch returns.
And we have one more question. This is from Renee Walker. Like her enthusiasm and excitement, she's already asking about motorization. Her question is, are motorized tracks operable by phone app as well as remote, which I'm sure you're going to answer in the section when we get there, but maybe I just want to give a quick answer.
Yes, is my quick answer.
All right. So Renee, we'll get into that more here in just a bit. One more question from Stephen again. This is clarification. Drapery returns that pin next to the wall. So again, his question was, how do you handle drapery returns 3 to 6 inches, drapery returns that pin next to the wall? Does that make sense?
I think it makes sense. And Stephen, I'm not super familiar with the installation side of it, but I'm almost positive from the installations I have been on, what they do is they put like a pin in the wall, like a thing that I don't know what it's called, that you hook it on, and then you would pin it back to the wall.
And maybe just to clarify that, I did have a question today of somebody that's doing double traverse motorization, and they were wanting to know if the actual drapery panel return could go all the way back to the wall and cover the motors. If that is also a question that you have, we have a full custom workroom, and we can make the returns go as far back as you want. So if it's 7 inches, we can do that. It does impact the number of pleats in your drapery, but we can do that. Ray Garcia asked, can the CS track be used on exterior applications?
It is not warranted outdoors. I do have an outdoor line. It's actually coming up very next. The CS track is not warranted outdoors. When you use it outdoors, it voids the warranty. With that said, I have customers that's all they use it for. There is a customer here in Georgia. You can look them up. It's called Mosquito Curtains. They only use our CS tracks outdoors, and I've never once had an issue with it. There's another company in Las Vegas Awnings. They use it in all the cabanas at the hotels on the Vegas Strip, and I've never had any of those come back. I would say some of the components internally is what you have to worry about if they rust or what the climate is, but it's not necessarily recommended, but it can be done.
A couple more questions, Callie. This question is, you mentioned multiple panels on one track. Your product is available to, your product is able to operate multiple panels at the same time with a single cord draw?
Not a cord draw, only baton.
Only baton, okay.
Only baton.
All right, and one other question, then what is the projection of the double bracket?
The double, hold on, I'll tell you. I think it's 3.5 to the first and maybe 6. Yep. So the double is 1.5 to the back rod and 5.5 to the front rod on one bracket. And then the adjustable bracket that we have, it's 2.5 inches to 4 inches adjustable on the back and 6 to 7.5 on the front.
Right, all right.
And that's one of the beauties too. And if you have your ARM COCO catalogs, we've listed all the measurements on brackets, on finials, on things like that. That's something that we try to spend a lot of time on because we know those questions come up. So if you ever have questions just on a specific product, a lot of the measurements are in the catalog and it has detailed pictures and detailed diagrams in there.
Great questions.
I love the questions.
Me too. Okay, what's next, Callie?
All right, I'm trying to share my screen again. Give me one moment. All right, so next we are going to get into, what is that? Hold on just a second. Okay, so like I mentioned, next we're going to get into decorative metal. And the way that we have our decorative metal broken out, with the exception of the outdoor collection, is pole sets and traversing rods. Kind of a fun little key to the code. You will see that all of the collection names are cities in the countries these products are being imported from. So you'll see Stuttgart, which is being imported from Germany. Deventer, it's coming from the Netherlands. Porto, coming from Portugal. So just kind of a little fun key to the code, a little trivia for you. The Tavera collection, we'll start here. So again, this is an outdoor collection. It has a 1-year warranty. This is something that we have installed in Sandals properties in the Caribbean. Even though it has the 1-year warranty, with that said, I haven't had any of these come back either. I try to be very honest about things like that and tell you, hey, I think this will work, and hey, I think that will not, or that will not work. But I think in the Caribbean is one of the harshest climates that you can get, and we have had no rusting issues with either of these. So the Tavera collection is offered in a pole set. Now, one thing I want to point out in this pole set is it has to be for grommet draperies. We do not have rings because the rings are not powder coated and they will not hold up outdoors. So just keep that in mind if you're quoting this out to somebody or you're showing this to a customer. Next, we have the Tavera traversing. It can be pinch pleat or ripple fold. And for those of you who maybe aren't as familiar, well, hey, what's the difference in a pole set and what's the difference in traversing? Anytime you have a really wide window, I always recommend traversing. You cannot bypass our brackets on the pole sets, but on traversing, you can bypass all the brackets because there are carriers and not rings. And here you can see a property that we did.
I'm sorry, you want to talk about your property?
Now I was just saying here's like a finished project photo where we've installed this.
Okay. I'm sorry, we had a question come in late, just from Larson Burns. Are there bracket covers for the DS wall mounted system?
Yes,
Yes. Thank you.
they come in white, black, and silver.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so then getting into all the different pole sets that we offer. You're going to see, with the exception of the acrylic pole set, wow, these look very, very similar. What are the differences? Why would I go with the Dresden collection over the Aviero collection? So basically the difference is the material that these products are using. The Dresden is going to be an extremely high-end collection. It's being imported from Germany. The finials are solid brass and the brackets are solid brass. The Deventure Deco collection, here's what makes this collection different than any other, is if you look here, the bracket attaches from the top. So most of all of these brackets, they're either drop-in like cup brackets or closed brackets where they completely wrap around the pole. This one does not. The Deventure also has a plastic inlay across the top of the pole to make an ultra quiet and ultra smooth operation. I'm going to go back to the Glasgow. Sorry, I skipped that. The Glasgow collection. So this is our acrylic pole set collection. The acrylic poles are hollow. And what the reason behind that and the math behind it is, with them being hollow, it's supposed to prevent the acrylic poles from bowing. Oftentimes when you use acrylic, it does tend to bow. Now, I do want to point out, even with that said, I do not recommend going over 10 feet with the Glasgow collection. The Lisbon collection is going to be brass coated. This is imported from Portugal. I call the Lisbon collection a designer's best friend. There are multiple different bracket options, multiple different finial options, different rings, and several different finishes. You'll see there's even kind of fun finishes like a rose gold, a French bronze, an oil rubbed bronze, and we're getting ready to add even a new finish in April. The Aviero collection, Lisbon and Aviero, I tend to tie these two together. You'll see that in these two collections, it's the same finials that are offered, the same brackets that are offered, but what is the actual difference? Aviero is stainless steel. So the only thing that differentiates is the material and the finishes that Aviero is offered in. Now, Aviero does come in a true stainless steel finish, which I think is great for somebody who's looking for their kitchen or where they're going to have stainless steel appliances. I don't know anybody else who offers a true stainless steel finish. And then the Porto collection. The Porto collection is wrought iron. It's going to be the most economical option. It's offered in a 3/4 inch pole as well as a 1 3/16 inch pole. So if you're ever looking for like a cafe rod, this tends to be what I point people to is the 3/4 inch Porto. Now, with all of that said, that is obviously a lot of pole sets, a lot of things to remember on where they're coming from, what the material is. So what are the top sellers? Glasgow, Lisbon, and Aviero. If you show those three, that is all you need. Steve would probably kill me for saying this, but the Dresden collection, only in the pole set, because we do have it in traversing, but in a pole set, you will price yourself out if you price this one. Unless somebody's doing like a Dresden motorized, a Dresden traversing, I don't really push people towards the Dresden just because it is so expensive. And for a basic pole set, often you can get exactly what you need with Lisbon and Aviero.
Can you explain to them, Kylie, why it is more expensive?
Because of the material. So because the brackets are solid brass, the finials are solid brass. So let's say you were to take like a ball finial from Dresden and a ball finial from Lisbon, the Dresden will literally drop your hand. It is so heavy. And it's only because it's a pole set, like I said, you'll see here in a second that Dresden traversing, that is one of our best sellers. But when people are looking at pole sets and you're looking at what competitors charge in the industry and what they've been looking at, like, let's say online, you want to be competitive, right? And if somebody's looking for a black pole, you can do that with Lisbon and Aviero.
Okay, Kelly, two questions. Going back, you don't have to go back one slide, but on the Tavera, if I said that correctly. Do you have matching grommets for the poles?
No, we do not. We were just talking about that earlier. We used to sell grommets, and then we a few years ago, we decided we were going to discontinue them. So Heath, that would probably be something your workroom, we could coordinate to where they would match the poles.
Yes, I believe we can get access to outdoor grommets. Yep. The second question is, with the Venter, can the rings bypass the brackets? Question mark. I don't think so. So if not, how far from the ends can you put the bracket?
They cannot. We recommend a bracket like once every 4.5 feet on the decorative hardware. But here is a really cool fact that no other customer knows. So Heath, I hope it's okay. I'm telling your customers.
Sure.
Something that we're going to be adding in the new catalog and in April are bypass brackets and bypass rings for the Lisbon and Aviero collection.
Great.
We used to carry them. You just have to be really careful with the bypass rings and bypass brackets because they can be a little tricky. So years ago, we discontinued them, but over the past year, we've really found that, hey, we've got to have these. We have multiple people asking for them. So we will be launching that in April.
Okay. Stephen has another question. Top 3 bestsellers of the 6 choices. I got Glasgow and Lisbon. What was the third?
Aviero.
Thank you.
Lisbon and Aviero, those are going to be like a mid-price point between all of these 6 collections, but it's still a very high-end material, a very high-end collection. But price-wise, it puts you where you need to be. It also gives you multiple, I think it's like 12, maybe even more than that, finishes just between these 2 collections.
Linda Thorne would like to know, so do any of your lines have bypass options right now?
Not right now.
So just to reiterate, it's going to be Lisbon and
Aviero, which are your top sellers.
Okay.
And again, I try to keep things very, very simple because we do have so many collections when we offer so many things, and a lot are similar. I like to tell people, this is what you're going to sell. This is what sells. Here's what you need to know. So I'm just going to show you, and please continue to ask questions. Here is the Glasgow pole. So you can see the ring, the collar on the bracket, and then the collar on the finial. So if you were to order the Glasgow, you would specify a finish. It could be polished brass, polished chrome, or graphite. That's showing you that. Acrylic has gotten really, really popular. That's a big seller. Here is the Lisbon in rose gold. Now this is showing the Lisbon collection with French returns. French returns are huge. We do offer French returns in most all of our pole set options. This is the Porto in 3/4 inches. So this again is the wrought iron collection. This is what I would direct somebody to if they were looking for like a cafe style rod. This would be the closest that we have. Again, Porto is your most economical option for pole sets as well. And then last but not least, the Deventer Deco collection. Sorry, Aviero collection. I think I got it upside down. There we go. Any other questions on pole sets? Pole sets are ordered a la carte. So you'll specify how many brackets, how many rings, how many nails, and the pole size. We'll cut everything to size. and something like that would ship in 1 to 2 business days.
Okay, I have two questions. Paige McIntyre asked, can we order pole set samples like what you were showing us? That's it, yes. So the question and answer is, Paige, yes. And if you, again, stick around to the very end, we'll have a very nice offer on kind of some of the sampling that you're seeing Callie showing us. The other question, again, Larson's asking, what's the maximum length for the French return system if one-way draw? Question mark.
If one-way draw, well, depends on how heavy the drapery is, number one. I would say maybe like 84 inches, you could push it. I tend to push things a little further because I know the quality of our hardware, but better safe than sorry. So I would say 84-inch cutoff, but if you wanted to push further, I think it would be okay.
Okay, great.
Okay, so then getting into the traversing collections, you'll see that we have, again, several different traversing collections. Traversing, you're going to want to use when you have wide windows. You can bypass the brackets. You can use these for ripple fold and pinch pleat draperies. When I refer to traversing, this is going to all be baton operated with the exception of one that we have, which it will specify cord draw. So here we are back to the Dresden traversing. And this is where I don't want to confuse you, but again, I do want to be very honest with you on what will sell and what best sells. So Dresden traversing is a top seller. In a traversing rod, it is more custom. You know, somebody is ordering a custom drapery to go with it with carriers. We have several different finishes in the Dresden traversing. Some we even have that are like a faux wood. It's like a foiled wrap. It is absolutely beautiful. The brackets are solid brass. The finials are solid brass. It can be bent, it can be curved, and it is heavy duty.
Callie, a question from Linda Mosley. Is there a width restriction when shipping?
Anything under or over 96 inches has to ship truck line, and really want your pole cut off to be 94 inches because you have to allow for packaging.
Good question.
And we do truck line shipments. Just keep in mind on truck line, it's very, very expensive. Now, one thing I'll point out on the splicing, and this is, keep in mind, this is baton operated only. This is not corded and this is not motorized. But on all of our baton tracks and metal, because in the tracks of that patented Teflon lubrication and the high quality materials that we use for the metal, we will splice on one-way draws, and I do not ever have issues with it. So that can be done even on a one-way. But if it's corded or motorized, I don't recommend splicing on one-way. Baton, you're totally fine.
Good question.
The Dresden cord draw. So again, this is another, what we call, I should have told you, Dresden is an 8-trail. It's an 1.1 8-trail. For those of you who've seen 8-trails in the industry or have seen like the Rolly 8-trail, that's become a big thing in the industry. Now, Dresden cord draw, it's the exact same diameter. It's an 1.1 and we do have it in a little bit larger, which is 1.9/16. The only thing I will say on this one, it's not intended to pull heavyweight draperies. So I would say 50 pounds or over, I would not use corded. A lot of the times people think, oh, well, cord will pull heavy draperies, or it's easier to pull, or we can do a larger drapery. That is not the case. Think about how hard you have to pull on that cord. So not for heavyweight draperies. The Deventure 1 1/8 this is going to be an economical option to Dresden. It's offered in multiple finishes. Now there are 3 finial options only on the Deventure. It's an end cap, a ball finial, and a notched finial. To be honest, 80% of the time people want to end cap anyways, but it can be bent and curved. It is heavy duty. It's imported from the Netherlands. It's aluminum versus the brass. So Deventure is going to be your economical 8-trail. Dresden is your high-end 8-trail. Okay, so getting into my absolute favorites, this is really where you're going to see the European craftsmanship. You're going to see the very contemporary looks, something that's different than what you typically see, like an H-rail or a pole. These are all our more contemporary collections. You'll see different collection names, and I'll kind of walk you through. Basically, here, what changes are the profiles. These are all imported from Germany. These brackets are also all solid brass. There's, with the exception of Stuttgart and this one finial, end caps are only offered for these, which is what most people like just because of that clean finish. The finishes that come with these 4 different collections is a matte white, a matte black, satin nickel, and a polished chrome. The reason for that is we try to really keep that contemporary look with these. Those are the more contemporary finishes as well. And again, the profiles are what change. So first you have what's called the Pure Collection. We're going to be changing this name to the Hanover Collection. When we added this last year, we quickly realized after we launched the catalog, well, that's not a name where this is imported from. So we've decided to brand it to Hanover Collection. This profile, it's kind of interesting. I almost describe it as like a soft triangle. It's basically like a triangle, but without the point. It's really pretty. It can be motorized as well, but just something very, very different. The next collection is called the Frankfurt Square Rail. This is a square profile. It's 1 inch by 1 inch. It is stunning. I saw it for the first time at a trade show, actually with the draperies in person. Often I don't get to see that because I'm only dealing with the hardware, and it was truly a wow factor. The Stuttgart rectangle rail. So this is going to be more of a flat rectangle profile. Almost looks like a rectangle fascia. And then we have the Stuttgart oval rail, which is an oval profile. And I'm going to show you, I'll go back to the Dresden, but I want to show the contemporary collections first, just because they are so pretty. So this is showing you the sun, but this is showing you the rectangle rail. Sorry, you can see here from the side. I feel like I'm on, what's that old, you know, where they say sell the jewelry? Is it QVC?
QVC.
QVC. And here we have the Frankfurt Square Rail. For joining this call, he's going to give you an excellent price.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to show you this. So here's the oval rail. You can see these are just very different. It's not just like your typical round traversing rod. And then you have the Dresden collection. This is actually showing the Dresden motorized. So the Dresden and the Deventer can be motorized. This is a brushed gold finish. It's really, really pretty. Kind of like a champagne finish. And I'm going to show you one more in the Dresden. Something kind of neat that I like to point out. So even on the Dresden traversing, we offer a French return. I don't know anybody else who has a French return for a traversing rod. You can see what happens is your carriers would stop at the end of the rod, but you have eyelets, so it looks like your drapery still wrap around to the wall.
Very nice.
Do we have any questions?
Oh, we're good so far.
Okay. Okay, so then moving into wood. some of you may sell more wood than others, but kind of what we find is wood is not near as popular as metal these days, but it is one of those things that you have to offer. So I'll kind of keep the wood section brief unless somebody really wants me to do a deep dive. But all of our wood is imported from Spain. It comes from an all-use tree. So what that means is it's very warp resistant. It's not going to wear down after years. We're able to offer that long warranty with it. We use a true wood and not a resin. So it is a high quality wood. First, the pole sets, you have the Valencia and the Seville collections. Valencia is going to be a very detailed grain in the finishes. So if you kind of look here, you'll see that detailed grain. And this isn't a pole only, so it's 1 3/4 inches. The Seville collection is 1 3/8 inches, and these are going to be more traditional finishes, more traditional finials. You can see like a hazel, black, a honey. Okay, and then we have our Cordoba collection, which is the top seller in wood. Cordoba is a 2-inch wood pole. You can offer it as a pole. You can offer it traversing with a baton or a cord, with C-rings, or motorized. Now, what happened?
Sorry, I didn't. I thought you were pausing. 3 questions. So one of them is going back to, 2 of them are going back to the traversing. Okay, so I apologize.
Okay. It's fine.
How wide can you go? I think I've asked that question. Where did the questions go? Oh, okay. On the traversing, what weight again do they carry on the traversing?
4 pounds per foot.
For 4 pounds per foot. Okay, thank you.
On
How
metal.
wide? Sorry.
On metal, 4 pounds per foot.
Okay. And how wide can you go on the French traverse rod? Again?
As you can go as wide as you would like, because the brackets would attach from the top if you need additional. So you can go the widest span that you need. Without a splice, we stock the rods in 19 feet 7-inch pieces. So anything after that, you would have to have a splice, but you can do extremely wide windows with that.
Okay. And can you get ripple fold carriers for the last 2 carriers on the French returns?
Yes, we would just put a snap on it. Yes.
Okay. And now on the wood, and forgive me if you asked this question, but somebody wanted to know, are the finials also wood or are they resin?
They are wood.
Wood. Okay. And I may have one more question here. Hold on 1 second. Do you offer elbows or horizontal brackets?
Elbows for pole sets, yes. I think it's in Dresden. We have in Dresden traversing, there is an elbow, and I'm sorry, I don't know what a horizontal bracket is.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, horizontal is where the back bracket is. I'm assuming the base is going to be, horizontal.
The opposite.
Yeah.
Now, our bracket, the back plates are round on the back plates.
Oh, all of them are around?
They're all round, except on, yes, I'm making sure. They're round. Now on the contemporary, there are a couple that are square, but they're not like rectangle or anything.
Okay. Yeah, she said for wood. So.
Okay. For wood, no.
Okay.
Not as of right now.
Okay. Okay, that's all for the questions right now.
Okay. So again, back to the Cordoba collection. This is our top seller for wood between all the wood poles or the wood traversing, just because you do have so many options for this collection. So you'll see all the different finishes that we stock, but we do also offer custom staining in-house. Typically what we do for custom staining is we'll paint like a ring and send a sample for you to approve. Once it's approved, we'll then put it into production and it will ship in 10 business days. Now, one of the benefits to our wood, our traversing wood and our wood fascias is it's a 3/4 inch piece of wood and not just a half pole. So it covers more of the track and it looks more like a true wood pole. So if you're coming down the stairs or going up the stairs, you're going to see the wood and not just the track. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, another sneak peek. Again, no one knows this. Keith doesn't even know this yet. but we will be adding a new wood collection called the London Collection. It is going to be imported from the United Kingdom. It's really soft, neutral finishes of wood, but it's also going to be interchangeable with metal. So you can do a wood pole with metal finials and metal brackets and metal rings. It's absolutely stunning. We don't have anything like it. It will be a higher end wood collection, but again, just kind of a sneak peek of what is coming in April. Okay. So of course I have saved the best for last, motorization. Now I know a lot of people with motorization, they get weary. Oh, there's so many different things with motorization, or it's hard to explain to our customers. I like to keep it super, super simple. And here's what you need to know, and here's what you can tell your customers. Forest motors have a 10-year warranty. It's the longest warranty in the industry. Most companies only offer a 5-year warranty. It's an extremely quiet motor, so you're not going to hear the motor itself when the draperies are operating. You'll only hear the carriers traversing across. It's offered in a plug-in version and a battery version. Okay, so you can do plug-in, you can do battery. The battery pulls 55 pounds. The plug-in pulls 160 pounds. All of our motors can be controlled by an app, by a remote, by a wall switch, by Alexa, Google, smart home. They're integratable with Lutron, Crestron. You can even integrate with Somfy motors. So as far as, hey, can we integrate with this? The answer is 99% of the time, yes. A lot of those instances will say, hey, we're going to get technical support involved. It's a gentleman named Dustin who handles our technical support, because let's say you're integrating with a Lutron system. There are multiple different Lutron systems. So depending on what that is, you could need additional components that you might have to purchase from somewhere else, but it's doable.
Callie, so we have a bunch of questions rolling in. One, going back to the wood, somebody had asked, see here, where to go. Oh, did you explain C-rings on the wood, or did you mention anything on C-rings on your wood right there?
No, I did not. We do have C-rings. They're only for pinch pleat, and it's basically like a half ring on a pinch pleat carrier where you can bypass your brackets.
Okay.
So the C-rings are for traversing only.
Okay, thank you. So one question, you were starting to talk about integration. Do the motors integrate with any other systems?
Yes. All systems. That's what I was saying. They can, yeah, they can integrate with pretty much every system there is out there.
Okay, and what about battery life, hours before needing to be charged or be replaced?
Yeah, it's really strange. Typically, battery life is based on revolutions, so how many times you close and open the draperies. For some reason, Forest Netherlands did it on a time span and not revolutions. So the battery's estimated to last 3 to 6 months before you have to recharge it.
And I guess maybe there was a question about replacement. Is there ever a need to have to replace the batteries at some point in time of the life of the traversing system?
No, I haven't had to replace any yet. But some people do buy an extra battery. So if these batteries, you take them out of the motor and you can charge it like literally on a table. You just plug it in. So some people will order an additional battery if they do a battery motorized, and that way they have a backup for when they're charging the second battery.
Okay, and we had two people back to back ask the same question. Can you say the weight limits again on the motorized drapes, both for plug-in battery?
Plug-in 160 pounds and battery 55 pounds.
I think I have another question here for you. Let's see here. Is the motorized traversing system compatible? This is one I have not heard of, the Savant system.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad you've heard of it. And let's see here. I think you just answered the question on the weight that came through. And do you offer a solar battery charger that mounts behind the rod?
We do not.
And let's see, another question came through. Can batteries be recharged while still connected to the rod?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Great questions. Okay, that's it for right now.
Okay. So once you have the basics on the motor, when you're talking to your customers, like I said, that you want to touch on the warranty, on the weight. Big thing, warranty, that it's very quiet. It's not going to be a loud operating system. Another thing that we have is called the touch control feature. So what this feature does is it allows you to close and open the draperies, even if someone's lost their remote or if the power were to go out. A lot of motorized rods would not do that because it would destroy the belt tape internally in the rod if you try to pull it open or pull it closed or close it and open it while there's no power. But with ours, it does not do that.
Okay.
And then as far as the different motorized rods that we offer, so we have and they're not all, I should have put them all on here. Hold on just a second. To keep it simple, I'm going to relate these to the hand-drawn that we talked about. We have our basic, hold on, my mouse is messed up. Okay, so we have our basic motorized track. Think of this as the CS track. It's 3/4 inches by 3/4 inches. It's offered in white and black, and it can be bent and curved. So you can technically offer CS. You can say, hey, here's the hand-drawn option. But if you're interested in motorization, you can upgrade to motorization. Looks the exact same from outside point of view. And then you have the Dresden collection. So let's say you're showing somebody the Dresden or the Deventer collection. You can offer both Dresden and Deventer in a motorized option. So there's an easy upsell. Hey, here's the hand-drawn, but if you're interested, this can be motorized. The Pure collection. So again, the Pure was like that soft profile or that soft triangle profile. And then the Cordoba collection. So you have multiple different motorized rods that you can offer, even decorative motorized. I don't know of anybody else who offers decorative motorized systems. And that is huge. One thing, obviously, we want you to sell Forest motors, and I think the Forest motors are great. But with the Dresden motorized, we are able to offer Lutron pulleys and Somfy pulleys. We do not ship the motor, but it comes motor ready. So basically, you would receive the motorized rod with a Somfy pulley or a Lutron pulley.
I think we may have a question here, Callie. Can you custom color Cordoba?
Yes, you can. And it's 25% of the order.
Good question. Okay, no other questions at this time?
No other questions?
No.
Well, I have a question to everybody. Did I make motorization easy enough?
Well, I hope you have. I mean, I think it's an opportunity if you're not, and yes, Lauren raises her hand. She says, hopefully, yes. So unless she's got a question, but yeah, I think this is something, matter of fact, we just had an order not too long ago. I think in the last couple of weeks, it was a $27,000 motorized drapery order. We've had multiples of those. So if you're not showing motorization, you're really missing an opportunity for revenue for your business. So I would highly consider that, just considering people now with apps and you know, you have Hunter Douglas product, everything's motorized, present it. And I think you would be shocked to find people that will bite on that. And maybe in the future, we'll do another training session where we delve maybe a little bit more into motorization so that you'll feel more confident, because as you're more confident about what you're showing and talking about, you'll show it more often. So I think we have another question here, Callie. Oh yeah. So Sheila's saying, yes, it was clear and easy. So fantastic.
So what I strive for.
All right, so anything else, Callie?
Nope. So I was just going to talk about, the fact that we do offer assembly where it comes installation ready. We offer the custom staining, bending and curving, and drop shipping. So even if you place the order with RM COCO and you don't want it shipped to you directly, but you want it shipped to your customer or to the customer's home, just know that we can do that.
Okay. A couple questions rolled in here. Lindsay wants to know, can you share your slides? So we will be actually, we're recording this webinar today and we'll be sending it to all attendees. So if you have other people in your organization that you feel should watch this, that will be going out in the next several days. What do retailers charge for motorization in terms of markup? You have,
I don't know. We publish retail pricing in our catalogs, so you are able to show your customer the retail catalog, whether you charge them that or you go up from there. I'm not sure what people are charging, to be honest. If it helps, like to know where we are price wise, motorization, I'm sure Somfy has a huge name in the motorized industry. Our prices are very price competitive.
I think you froze up a little bit there. It's a good question, Stephen. I think that, I would go as much to the MSRP as you could, just showing the value of the product. But I don't know. Maybe what I'll do is reach out to the person that just placed the order that was $27,000 and keep that confidential, but see maybe what they mark that up to. And we can swing back around, Stephen, if you'd like to. All right, let's see. I think we have another question. In terms of selling motorization, it's an easier sell to talk about automated rods and blinds and shades because clients associate noise with the word motor. Please consider renaming them as automated rods. That's a good.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
I like
Linda.
that.
That was Linda that shared that tidbit with us.
Linda, that is really good.
All right, so if any more questions roll in, I'll grab them, but I do want to share real quickly. I told you I'd share our offer with you. This is a fantastic offer. This is something that Forest Drapery is offering and RM COCO as well. So you can get this custom kit package. It's $500 for 150 days for you to test it out. And if for some reason or another you feel this is worth the investment, we will take it back. We have sold a lot of these and we have not had anybody return it. For $500, you're going to get the fabric binder and fabric card for roller shades. And at another time, we will do a webinar strictly on roller shades, which is something that Forest Drapery offers. You will get a hardware binder. You also receive the set of 10 sample boards. So someone earlier asked, can you get the sample boards that Callie was showing? You will get 10 of those. But for me, the biggest thing on this offer is the motorized samples. You get a motorized sample for an 8-foot pole, and you can
you get an automated sample. Automated sample.
There we go. Linda's already got her convinced. So yes, you get an automated track, either in decorative metal, decorative wood, or in a roller shade treatment. And then one of the things they have here is a box of catalogs. If you feel you don't really need 35, you don't have to receive 35. Some people may hand these out. I don't know to who, but that is part of the package. So I believe, what is that, $3,250 plus in marketing support for only $500. So if you want to get into selling Forest Drapery, this is, I think, a great investment to make with a lot of low risk there. Okay. So
and can I give one last sneak peek, April?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for those of you who don't have a showroom or don't have a lot of room in your showroom, 2 new marketing items that we're coming out with that I am so excited about are a tabletop display, which we've never offered in the past. It's going to be a really, really nice display on a big piece of wood with forest and grass.
Well, I don't know what happened to Callie. She may have accidentally, maybe she'll try to join us back, but I will go ahead and here she comes. There you are, Callie.
I'm not sure. It just cut off all of a sudden.
No worries. I had it under control.
So anyway, so we're gonna be coming out with a tabletop display as well as a bag display that will be a bag that's easy to carry into somebody's home, and it'll have different rod cuttings and finials on the rods where you can show people in their home what all you can offer.
Freddie shared with us, he says he sells a lot of motorization. He says double your cost or more and charge for programming in addition to installing. So thank you, Freddie, for sharing that information. Mary Ann wanted to know, can we rewatch this later? Yes. Again, we will send this out via a link to all the attendees, whether they were on the webinar or missed it. You will receive a link to that. And Linda says she does do shop at home, no bricks and mortar. Is there any substitution of bag instead of the sample board in the offer?
I just brought that up to my marketing manager earlier.
Okay.
Come April, that's what I told her. I said, for people who don't have showrooms, we need an offer where you can do the wall display, the bag, or the tabletop, and let someone pick. So as of right now, until we get those in stock, which again, that should be beginning of April, no, but once we have that, yes, you can do that.
So Linda, if you're interested in this, we're still going to honor this. If you want to wait until then and reach back out and see if the bag is available, then we can do this deal then if you'd like to. There was another question. When did you say the tabletop display would be available?
Beginning of April.
Beginning of April. Okay. All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, I really appreciate everybody's time. We went an hour and 10 minutes and everybody I think we may have one more question. Nope, we're good. So I want to ask the challenge question. I hope we have a lot of Jeopardy fans on here, because this is going to be a very tough question. And so again, we're giving away 6 forest binders to the first 6 people that answer the question. And the question is, what was the name of the product of the Drapery Hardware line that we had the webinar on today? So if you're the first 6 people to answer, then we will send you a binder. So they're rolling in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Wonderful. There's some smart people here, Callie. They got it. Forest Drapery.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh out loud.
If they couldn't answer that question, you're fired. So in closing, I just want to thank everybody again for their time today. And just know that RM COCO, in addition to decorative hardware, we do have a full line of decorative fabrics, trim. We have a full service workroom for anyone that would have a need in that area. And we're always here to partner up with you to kind of help you elevate your interior design projects. We thank you for being part of today's webinar. We appreciate your time and engagement. We know you're very busy. So with that, stay inspired, stay connected, and until next time, have happy designing. And we will get these binders out to the individuals. So let me read here real quickly. I hope you're still here. Let's see here. Paige, if you will send me if you will email me at heathwatson@rmcoco.com, where you would like the Forest Drapery Hardware binder to be shipped to. Stephen, if you will do the same, again, Heath Watson, Heath Watson, WATSON @